Welcome back, guys. We're going to be installing the 6-hour Romeo 1 on my Glock Gen 5 MOS 34. The MOS plates don't work, so I had to buy this mounting plate from 6-hour for about 50 bucks on Amazon. It and all of the other tools are in the description. Follow those links if you need them. This is the NC Star sight pusher to install the very excellent Dawson Precision backup irons for the Romeo 1. The Wheeler accurizing torque wrench, need one of these to install an optic. You have to have one. This is a fixer front sight tool from Glock. And let's get going with our blue Loctite. Use blue Loctite, guys. So we're going to start by mounting the plate to the frame and speed it up because ain't nobody got time for this. So look how fast my hands are moving. I am a blur of productivity just using the wrench that comes with the MOS mounting plates to get them finger tight because Glock doesn't give you torque settings on these and I don't have a bit for my wrench. So then we're going to marry the optic to the plate. It's worth mentioning right now that if you have a Vortex optic, you're going to have to mount the optic first and then the backup irons, the order that which I'm doing it in. If you have any other optic, I recommend putting the backup irons in first and then doing the optic second. The reason is Vortex has the set screws on the back of the optic that you need to keep loose to adjust the windage and elevation. So the Torx bit I was using doesn't fit the SIG screws, so I had to go wrestle up an Allen key type, and you'll see the wrench will actually slip once it reaches 30 inch-pounds of torque. Each optic has a different torque setting. The SIG asks for 30 inch-pounds of torque, so that's what I use. But not only that, you have to actually tighten the battery cap using that as well. So there it is, it's mounted on there, and we are ready to put on our backup irons. So here we are again. I've got my fixer front sight tool available from Amazon. I'm going to put on a dab of blue Loctite. I know some people say use green Loctite on Glock front sights, and I hate you because it's very difficult to get off. So blue and red works pretty good for me on front sights. Haven't had any issues with that. As long as you let it cure before you shoot it, let it cure for at least a day. So there we go. I'm going to back out the set screw from the rear sight. I'm going to start it in the dovetail and get my sight pusher. This thing has a bunch of different screws and a crank. It applies torque. It's easier than drifting with punches. I don't have a vise mounted in my garage, so this thing works pretty well. It does take a bit of time, unfortunately, but you can get really, really accurate if you use a set of calipers. I've got a dial caliper I use for reloading, where I basically get this thing zeroed in the center of the slide to nearly thousandth of an inch. So you can see how long this is taking even at 300% speed. Just cranking on it, it's drifting it from right to left, going into the slot there. So I'll just kind of get it in and eyeball it and get it going well. Once I have it roughly centered, I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to measure it with the dial calipers and get it going. So there we go. I got my calipers out. I'm going to measure. I'm going to use the back side of the dial calipers. Don't do a great job showing you, but you can kind of put it in. Here you go. Here you go. Now you can see. I'm just going to push that in until it hits the edge of the frame, and I'm going to take a reading. So I've got a 165 reading on that side, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side and get a reading. I can already tell you 165 is too much, so it's probably like 1.4 something, 1.3 something. So there we go, 1.53. So I'm about 10 hundredths almost, too far. So I put it back on there. I went back and forth a bit more, so I'm going to save you the time watching that, but just show you there's a 157 reading on one side and a 156 reading on the other. That is close enough for me. I'm not going to argue about the thousandth of an inch. So I'm going to put some Loctite on the set screw. I'm going to turn that in using the supplied Allen key from Dawson. It's really exciting. Look how fast my hands move. That's what practical shooting does. When you practice a lot, your hands move really super fast. And there we go. I'm going to wipe out my excess Loctite, and it's going to look really, really good. This has been really exciting. I feel like I know you guys all better, and if you've made it this far and are still listening to me talk, then you're my bro. Tell me your favorite kind of seafood in the comments. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care, guys.